In this video, we are going to be deep sea fishing for Florida's most prized snapper. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So the day before our snapper trip, right now, South Florida, we're going through the mullet run. So it's so easy to load up on these live baits. So we went out there with our cast, and as you guys can see here, there's just so much bait jumping. So we cast netted a lot of these baits, and we were able to just black out our cast net here. And like I said, this time of the year, it's so easy to catch bait, so you got to take advantage of this opportunity right now. So that's what we did here. So we got a bunch of bait, and then we decided to head back home after we got a ton of bait, rig up our rods, and head out the next day. We now rig up the boat the next afternoon. Our live well was full with pilchards and mullet, so we made a 3-mile run north out of Boca Inlet to set up for our first drift. We now get to our first spot, and this is what the bottom looks like. We were marking a good amount of fish. So my brother Austin here, he rigs up this pilchard, and we usually try to hook him in the belly or we hook him in the tail. This one we decided to hook in the belly here. So once we rigged up this pilchard, we threw him out there and we dropped down our first bait. So now that we rigged up all our baits, we started our first drift, and my dad was the first one to get the first bite. So he started fighting these fish, and our setup when we're fishing for snapper in general is usually we have our weight very far from our bait. And the reasoning for this is because usually if your weight's near the bait, these snappers will not be interested. They usually get spooked away. So we like having those long leaders just to play it safe. So we now got this fish near the boat. And if you guys could drop a like on this video and hit that sub button, we would really appreciate it. We do weekly uploads, and we are a family fishing channel, so that would mean a lot to us. So we now got this weight right near the boat. And on this first shot, we actually did not catch the most prized snapper. This was not the snapper we were looking for, but they do taste very good. But on this next shot was when we caught the most prized snapper, so stay tuned. So we bailed this yellowtail over, and we got this beautiful, nice yellowtail snapper. So we rigged up another bait, and this is when we got the most prized snapper. So the bite kinda got slow in that spot, so we decided to pick up and move to another spot. And this next spot was where we caught the most prized snapper. So we set up our drift, and you guys will notice here we usually run 2 bottom lines, and then we have a couple of flat lines going out, because you just never know what's going to swim up to the boat. We've caught sailfish, tuna, mahi, everything just free drifting like this. So we set up our bottom lines, and this is when we got our nice hit. So we now just got the hit we were looking for, and this we knew was the most prized snapper. So I grabbed this rod and I started fighting this fish. And when you're fighting bigger snapper, for a lot of you that caught them, if you haven't caught them, these fish fight so hard. When you're bottom fishing, it's kind of easy to identify, because usually your grouper will tend to just swim straight down and try to get you in structure. These snapper though, you can just feel how strong they are. They'll try to pull you away. And honestly, we've broken off when you're fishing these wrecks. They break you off a lot on the wrecks. So you want to try to reel it in as fast as you can, so these fish cannot break you off. The most important tip when fighting these fish is when you first get that initial bite, you want to reel as fast as you can, because if you give these snapper any time on the bottom, you're likely going to get wrapped in a rock, you're going to get wrapped in the wreck, because usually most of these fish are on structure. So if you're catching these mutton snapper, if you're catching a grouper, they're more likely to be on structure. So we now got this weight right near the boat. In this rod that this fish hit on, actually the leader we had was like 50 feet. And sometimes you need this on certain days, because some of these fish on certain days will hit on a 10-foot leader, and on other days you have to put out a 50-foot leader just to get some action. So we see color now right under the boat, and we knew this was the fish we were looking for. So we saw it was a mutton snapper, so we bailed this fish over and we got this beautiful mutton snapper. So we measured this fish now, and this fish was legal, so we were able to keep this fish. We hope you guys enjoyed this Barjacks video, and we'll see you guys in the next Barjacks family video.